I am back. It took a lot. I had to delete some stuff. God is going to increase my capacity for this mission that he put me on. But so what I was saying is, look, the whole time I'm still in awe. The tears are dried up. I just wiped them off because I'm like, I gotta go in the store, Lord. Okay. But cry if you need to cry. Let it out. Sometimes people are going through stuff and crying is the only way of release, but because it's looked at as a form of weakness, then they hold it back. Like, I'm talking about kids, I'm talking about men, I'm talking about boys. Like, it's okay to cry. It's a whole different teaching. When I was in the classroom, how I just talked to the boys about crying, because there are times was like, okay, bring it in. I'm gonna need you to bring that in. But to get chastised for crying, no, it's a form of communication. And sometimes the person in our physical realm don't understand, and so they want to chastise us or they want to make fun of us, whatever. But the Lord hears. The Lord hears. He sees the tears, right? I don't remember the scripture, but he knows what's on your heart. It's a form of communication, and I just pray that you guys get okay with using that form of communication. It don't have to be in front of everybody. Like I said, that was a vulnerable moment for me. The Lord moved me to do that because he needed somebody to hear, like, it's okay to cry. Like Prophetess Taryn, Tarver, my mama T, she will humble herself. She's so humble. She will fall out. She will lay prostrate before the Lord in 1 minute, crying in 1 minute, and casting out demons in a second. Because crying does not mean that you're weak. It does not mean that you have no power. It does not mean that Christ does not reside in you. So I just want to say, and even Christ wept. He even cried when it's time for him to go to the cross. But does that mean that he was not the Messiah? Does that mean that he did not complete the mission that he was on? No, he still died. He sacrificed his life for us so that we can be made whole. And so I just want to say, if you're going to be saying, I want to be like my Father, if you want to be saying that I have the mind of Christ, like I want to walk as Christ did, then you have to be okay with crying. You cannot cry and feel like, oh, I'm weak because I'm crying. But you can cry and say, because I'm weak, and let God be your strength. Like, that's a whole nother teaching in itself. But all I want to say is, like, this was just the sole purpose of this was just to say, like, cry. If you have to cry, cry. If tears come down, cry. Look, I'm like this. Hey, how you doing? Because sometimes the tears is not sad tears. People think tears is equals sad tears. No, I be crying and laughing and jumping and laughing and crying, and no. Okay, so cry if you have to cry. If your children cry, seek what the tears are for first. They have emotions too. I'm sorry for clapping. Seek the emotion that they are experiencing and see if it's valid. Okay, if you crying because your cheese fell off your bread, okay, I'm gonna need you to bring that in. And like I said, it's a whole different teaching. But God bless you all. Like, God release the grace over the parent caregivers live. Release the grace over the people who's watching his lives to be okay with crying and know that it's not a form of weakness, but actually is an opportunity for you to show your